I was American born, and I'll die in America.
Welcome to our group. Welcome to Defender 7. Defender 7 has so much knowledge, and this ought to show it right here.
Do you or someone you know suffer from depression? If so, please contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Defender 7 Tuesday night medical broadcast with your host, our Colonel, Kimberly Purvis. And I am your co-host and General of the Defender 7, Bobby Ormsby. Now, before we get on with the program tonight, for those of you new just tuning in, I have a disclaimer to read. The views and opinions expressed on Defender 7 radio show and Facebook page are those of the callers and or authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Defenders 7. Now, with that out of the way, again, welcome everybody. We also have a website. If you type in all lowercase letters, www.defenders, Roman numeral V as in Victor, with 2 small i's.com. On our site, we have a store and a donate button. 100% of our proceeds from our sales from the store and any donations we bring in go back to our communities throughout all 50 states in a time of need. So by all means, please purchase something or click that donate button. You and your communities, when natural disaster or shit hits the fan scenarios happen. Now we can be reached on our national Facebook page by typing in the search box, all capital letters, Defenders 7. That's Defenders, Roman numeral V as in Victor, with 2 large I's. But just know, before you click on that join button, we expect all of our members and future members to participate in everything we do throughout the Defender 7. Training, survival training, meet and greet, which is a face-to-face meeting, so you know who's in your community and who has your 6 when shit hits the fan. If you feel it's not the group for you and you can't participate, you can always leave. No hard feelings. We're also on MeWe. If you click on organizations and scroll down, Defenders 7 Humanitarian American Patriot Group. We also have a YouTube page and channel, which our Colonel Kimberly Purvis is doing an awesome bang-up job on getting that put together. Now, for tonight's show and all the shows we do here on Blog Talk Radio, we enjoy it when you call in with your own opinions. Everybody's opinion counts. Nobody will down you for your opinion. And that number to call, area code 914-205-5773. Again, number to call to participate, area code 914-205-5773. Now, this is going out to all my Virginia friends and anybody from Virginia that's listening. We have a cold case from 2015 with our sister group, We Can Bring You Hope, for Caitlin Atkins. If you know something, say something. Reach out to one of us or reach out to We Can Bring You Hope. You can reach them on Facebook, WCYH, in your search box, We Can Bring You Hope.org. And help share the flyers. Get some printed if you're in that area. Fredericksburg, Virginia, Spotsylvania, and surrounding counties. Get the word out, please. Let's help this family get closure they deserve. Again, her name is Caitlin Atkins. And I will now turn the microphone and introducing our Colonel, National Medical Officer of the Defender 7, Miss Kimberly Purvis.
Hello, hello.
Good evening. You like that?
What?
What I did, how I announced you. You mean what?
Oh yeah. No, sorry. No. My dog is friggin' sitting on me. My elbow is killing me, and I think the dogs are going to kill me sooner or later. They're just driving me insane.
We took life insurance out on you. They're splitting it with me.
Yeah, no shit. As far as shut up. As far as the YouTube channel, I'm trying to do schoolwork at the same time. So
right.
Yeah, I've got a few videos on there, and I'll work on them some more tonight.
Well, I just figured put it out there.
Oh, so no, that's good.
People listening.
No, that's good. The only thing is I can't get a picture small enough, I guess, for the banner. Like, you know, you have on Facebook, you got a banner, and then your picture in the circle.
Yeah.
YouTube has the same thing. And every picture I find, it's too big. It's too big. It's too many. Like, well, piss off.
You got to get with Hinkle.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's on the thing as an admin, so he could go on there and add whatever pictures that's from the group on there. I don't know how to.
Just message him, or text him too.
I'll just hit him.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do.
Isn't he looking for work, though, because he just got done with school?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know he's busy.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. So none of the other slackers are on with us?
Yeah, nobody's in yet.
Wow. Okay. Might be able to get something done. Before we get everything started, any birthdays, anniversaries, or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Call? I don't think.
Not that I'm aware of.
Let's see. Today's the 20th. Yeah, I don't have any family birthdays until my birthday next month. Yeah, I know. I wear a size 9mm.
Or 5.56.
Yeah, or the 12. So yeah. No. I just wanted to also. We're going to go more into it on Thursday anyway, but I'm going to bring this up on all the shows. There is a group of idiots that's going on, especially on TikTok. I don't know where else they're doing this. they're making a mockery out of National Sexual Assault Awareness Day on the 24th. Okay, they're making a mockery of it, and there's been dozens of people they've been sending messages to women, especially if you have kids. They don't care. They're doing this because so many women play guys. You know, the hard to get and this, that, and the other. Well, that's what they're saying they're going to do. We don't know if they're going to do it or not. I think it's Utah, I believe. The governor, I think it's the governor that said it because it was on the news. He's not going to tolerate it. So, and a lot of the different police departments, they're not going to put up with this crap. Whether they're doing it as a joke or not, we don't know. So,
right.
Ladies, be careful. Keep an eye on your kids.
I know it's on a lot more social media platforms because I've been seeing it when I post our shows.
Oh, okay. I've just seen it on the news, and then I saw it of course I've seen it on TikTok, but because there's so many different things you could do on TikTok. I mean, I watch it for the stupid videos, but they have a lot of law enforcement on there, the fire department, a lot of EMTs, people with their pets, their kids. I mean, and I don't keep up with the stupid trends and stuff, but I just like all the stupid videos. But there's a lot of other things, that's other information that's given out on there. And then when stupid people do crap like that. But guys, help keep an eye out for anyone that thinks they're going to attack a woman. Remember, if you carry, that you're defending somebody. If it's a woman,
that's right.
You carry, have a taser, pepper spray, I don't care what it is. Protect yourselves, you know, and don't put up with that shit. So, unless you're around someone that can help you, then by all means do that. So,
I think Dr. Phil's with us tonight.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, brother.
What's happening?
Not much.
Not much. Cool. Yeah. So I just wanted to listen in and see what was going on. I haven't been here for a while. I've been super busy.
We're doing vitamin deficiencies tonight.
Oh, great. I need to learn a lot about that.
You better know all about that. No, I was just going to start with vitamin A and go down the list. It just basically, you know, because I got a lot going on, and I'm flicking through my medical books. I'm like, this sounds like a good idea tonight. So, but anyway, I'll go ahead and start with the vitamins, and then if we have time, which we should have time, do the mineral supplements as well. But all of this information that I'm getting, the vitamins and stuff is on that book, Foods That Heal. And it has pretty much everything in the book. Different recipes as well, but it has all your fruits, vegetables, herbs, spices, you name it, all your dairy products, everything. And what it does and how to prepare whatever it is that you want. But vitamin A...
Speaking of vegetables, yes. Captain from Wisconsin is on, Lorna Munson.
Oh, Wisconsin. How are you, Wisconsin? What, did she mute her phone?
She must have.
Okay. Well, we're going to start with vitamin A. It's an antioxidant, and it helps your vision, your night vision, but apparently my night vision sucks because I have no night vision. For growth, reproduction, collagen production, and it helps with the moistness of your mucosa, your mouth, you know, and all that cool stuff. The carotenoids are precursors to vitamin A, the antioxidant, healthy heart and circulation, and also for you having a healthy mucosa. Good sources of vitamin A are fish. Fish liver oils, animal liver, like beef liver, beef liver. Oily fish, egg yolks, whole milk, and butter.
And carrots.
And carrots? Oh, yeah. Okay, the carotenoids, they green and yellow fruits and vegetables, dark green leafy vegetables, sweet bell peppers, sweet potatoes, broccoli, carrots, dried apricots, prunes, kale, parsley, spinach, squash, and watercress. Now, why? It's just whole milk. But you don't get it from 2% milk, or does it have to be the whole milk?
Got me, but I can tell you this. Vitamin A is one of the 4 vitamins that are considered fat-soluble, and so I would suggest that the vitamin A would be in the fat of the milk. And so when they reduce the fat content of the milk, then it would not contain as much or of any of the vitamin A. It would have a little, but not as much as whole milk. Vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K are the 4 fat-soluble vitamins.
Would you say A?
A, D, E, and K.
I'm going to mark that down here. E, K. Okay.
ADEC. Yeah.
ADEC. You know what? Now it hits me, ADEC. But right before you said that. Yeah, I know. See, if you don't use it, you lose it. So
that's probably why I might.
Huh?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just asking you, what do you... This has between 5 and 9,000... what is the IU? Intake?
International units.
Okay. For the vitamin A, they say between 5 and 9,000. And on the beta-carotene, they recommend 5 to 8 milligrams. What do you normally recommend for those? About the same?
Not just normally whatever the book says, because the FDA really hasn't regulated that stuff yet.
Oh, okay.
They do say, there's some toxic vitamins too you have to be aware of, and there's certain limits on certain vitamins. But other vitamins, your body will use whatever it wants, and then it will just get rid of whatever it doesn't need. But you got to be careful of the toxic ones. I don't remember which ones. I have to look them up. But yeah. So.
Hold on. Vitamin A deficiency. So, I'm just looking for. Okay, here we go. So some of the vitamin A deficiencies, because I think I found. It shows one of these I saw earlier, the toxicity of it. So it plays a crucial role in some body functions. Try to see, where's it at? Let's see. I'm looking for. So the vision problems, your eyes can be dry at first, and you could damage the cornea and the retina. Night blindness is something else. Like when they say night blindness, you're not blind, but you have a hard time seeing. I don't drive at night. If I could stand it, I will not drive at night. What happens is it causes the person to be unable to see or have trouble seeing in low light, and which eventually can do complete blindness at night. Well, that would suck. Vitamin A plays a key role in your immune function, and so a person with vitamin A deficiency may experience more frequent infections. So you won't be able to fight them off as easily. You could have skin issues. You could get dry skin, itching, scaly, really, really dry, scaly skin. You could have fertility issues. Also, vitamin A plays a part in creating healthy cells, and you could have stunted growth. Hey, so does this account for anybody that's shorter than 5'5"? I mean, when they say stunted growth, do they mean like if you have tall people in your family and you're the only short one because you don't have vitamin A, or is it well, it slows your bone growth. So that's why you have to make sure. It's probably the reason why they want kids drinking whole milk afterwards, after they get off of formula. Or is that not why?
Well, the children, babies, they have a fully developed digestive system at 6 months old. But as far as whole milk goes, it's not recommended for them to consume that until they are at least a year old because it can cause gastrointestinal issues. Yeah. Whole milk, I get a lot of immigrants coming across that are used to drinking goat's milk and other forms of milk, and even cow milk that they boil right there. But the pasteurizing process in the U.S. causes these kids some severe gastritis with cow's milk, and so it's something in the pasteurizing process and also something in the milk that causes GI issues. So if you have a child, make sure they're at least a year or older before you start giving them whole milk. You can feed them other foods, basically anything you want to after 6 months of age, as long as they can chew and that kind of stuff. But you don't want to give them whole milk.
Yeah.
Till they're a year.
See, nobody in my kids, their father's side of the family, nobody could drink whole milk. Every person that drinks whole milk gets nosebleeds. And I'm not talking little nosebleed. I'm talking hemorrhaging nosebleed. It's profuse nosebleeding. And not one of them can drink whole milk.
It might be a lactose issue.
Well, I do know my oldest is lactose intolerant. Pretty much all the women on my mom's side is lactose intolerant. So is my brother. But I don't know about anybody else. But they just find it weird that.
Well, you remember what you said about vitamin A and the mucosa. So
yeah.
You were talking about the mucosa. So if you have a atrophied or a dry mucosa because you don't get enough of vitamin A, then I can see how that could cause issues with, maybe bleeding of the nose. But there's not that much vitamin A in whole milk, so that probably isn't the reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just thought it was kind of weird that and we try to do experiments, and we're trying to experiment and see if that's what it was. And my daughter's like, okay, I'll be the guinea pig. I'll do it. And I'm within a few minutes of her drinking whole milk, nosebleeds. So she just stopped drinking it. So a lot of the people that's at risk of vitamin A deficiency are, like you said, premature infants, pregnant or lactating women, infants and young children in developing countries. And some of the other secondary deficiencies may occur in people who have cystic fibrosis, chronic diarrhea, celiac, duodenal bypass, bile duct obstruction, and cirrhosis. So those are some of the other secondary issues. So, like we said, vitamin A is important for your vision, your immune system, your reproductive system, and cellular communication. So, and we already went over the ways to get some vitamin A. All right. So the next is vitamin B. Well, there's more than one B, but B1 is the thiamine, and it helps release the energy from carbohydrates, appetite regulation, healthy digestion, and nervous system. So let me see here. So some food: yeast extract, wheat germ, whole wheat flour, sunflower seeds, brown rice, Brazil nuts, pecans, pork, beans, and I doubt that's pork and beans. So, it's just pork. It doesn't say which beans. It just says beans in general. Buckwheat, oatmeal, hazelnuts, rye, liver, and cashews. And it says it's unstable to light and heat. So milling flour causes a 60 to 80% loss of the vitamin B1. I don't know if there's any let's see, vitamin B. What? We're going to do these one at a time. So some of the symptoms of B1 deficiency, it's fairly uncommon in developed countries. However, if you're an alcoholic, if you're older, if you have HIV or AIDS, blood diabetics, people who've had bariatric surgery, dialysis, and a high-dose diuretic use. So if you're on a high diuretic. So you could end up with loss of appetite, which wouldn't be a bad thing for me right now. But they also consider it the same thing as anorexia when they say loss of appetite. It helps control the satiety center, if that's what I'm pronouncing it right. It's in your hypothalamus, in your brain. So, and that's what helps your brain, tell your body that you're full. Also, for those that's trying to lose weight, I have noticed this myself. If you eat slower, your body will know when you're full. I know my youngest, I think it's because of the job she had, and you have to just like inhale your food pretty much. And you end up overeating because your brain hasn't sent that signal to your stomach, hey, stop eating. So the slower you eat or smaller bites, it does help. You could also have fatigue. It could be like a quick onset, or it could be gradually, and it could be a slight decrease in your energy to extreme exhaustion. So it depends on the severity of the deficiency. Kind of like when you get a cold. You know, you just feel like, that drawn out feeling. So it's kind of like that. Let's see. And since fatigue, it is a vague symptom with numerous possible causes, and it can commonly be overlooked as a thiamine deficiency, because a lot of things can make you fatigued. You could be anemic. You could be sick. So there's a lot of different things that can lead to it. Irritability. Often you become irritable too fast. So, but like I said, with a lot of these issues, they all kind of go together, like nausea, vomiting, constipation, diarrhea. It's pretty much the call sign of every disease there is, pretty much. Irritability can be caused by various physical, psychological, and medical conditions. So, but it's one of the first symptoms of a thiamine deficiency. and it could be within days or weeks of once you become deficient. Irritability has been especially documented in cases involving infants with beriberi, and it's also a disease by a thiamine deficiency. You could have reduced reflexes. It can affect the motor nerves. And if it's left untreated to your nervous system that's caused by a thiamine deficiency, it could cause changes in your reflexes. So reduced or absent reflexes of the knee, ankle, triceps are often observed. And as the deficiency progresses, it can also affect your coordination and your ability to walk. And that's why I say it's important to pay attention to your body. Any problem that you have, note when it started. Is it a consistent problem? Does it come on and off? What makes it better? What makes it worse? And things like that. And that way you could tell your doctor what it is. And don't just let it go. Because like I said, everything starts out simple. And then it ends up, and it can be a catastrophic thing eventually if you let it go. All right, hold on. What's it? Oh, damn dog. Sorry, guys. My dog's trying to eat a marker. She's already painted herself with candle wax. Finally got that cleaned up. Okay. Tingling sensation in your arms and legs. So you could have abnormal tingling or prickling, burning, or this like pins and needles. Kind of like if your leg goes to sleep or your hand goes to sleep when you're sleeping, or if you're sitting on your foot like I'm doing right now, which I shouldn't do. But it's like that. That's what it feels like. And it's also known as paresthesia. And the peripheral nerves that reach your arms and legs rely heavily on the action of thiamine. In cases of deficiency, peripheral nerve damage and paresthesia can occur. So apparently a lot of cases of people with the paresthesia are in the beginning phases of a thiamine deficiency. So muscle weakness, it's not uncommon, but it's difficult to determine. Short-term temporary muscle weakness happens to almost everyone at some point, but persistent, long-standing muscle weakness without a clear cause might also be a thiamine deficiency. Let's see. We got a blurry vision. Severe thiamine deficiency can cause swelling of the optic nerve, inducing optic neuropathy. And it could be like blurry vision or even loss of vision. So, and we got, hold on a second. Oh, okay, we got a couple more to go. Number 8, nausea and vomiting. It says although gastrointestinal symptoms are less common, they still can occur. So they don't understand why they may manifest with a thiamine deficiency. They have, and they've been resolved after they've been on thiamine supplement. So vomiting may be more common in infants with the deficiency, and it was found to be a common symptom in infants who consumed the soy-based formula, like Isomil. I think it's Isomil. That's the soy. And see, all 3 of my kids had to be on a soy-based formula. They could not have the regular, like Enfamil and all of those others. It's been so long, I forgot all the names. you can have changes in your heart rate. Not enough thiamine could result in a slower than normal heart rate. Okay. And number 10, shortness of breath. Given that thiamine deficiency can affect your heart function, shortness of breath may occur, especially on exertion. You know, if you're doing heavy-duty housework, exercise, walking, working, anything like that can cause shortness of breath. And that's also because sometimes it can lead to heart failure. And when the heart becomes less proficient or less efficient at pumping blood, it can ultimately result in fluid accumulation in the lungs. Your heart and your lungs work together. So when you have one problem, you probably will end up with both. You know, it doesn't matter which one you – like my dad. He started out with COPD and eventually ended up with a lot of heart problems and heart failure. And last but not least, delirium. It is a serious condition that results in confusion, reduced awareness, and the inability to think clearly. And I know I'm going to butcher this syndrome. In severe cases, thiamine deficiency can cause, is it Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome?
Yep.
Okay, did I pronounce the Wernicke right?
Yep.
I hate getting some of these. Okay, cool. It involves two types of closely related brain damage. So it can cause, like I said, delirium, memory loss, confusion, and hallucinations. So now, like the hallucinations and the delirium and stuff, I know people that are schizophrenic, they already have those issues. But could they also have a thiamine deficiency as well? Or is that just like
it's something worth checking?
Huh?
Something worth checking into. Something worth checking into.
Oh, okay.
You know, thiamine's vitamin B1.
Yeah. That is something I'm going to look into because that, I mean, it just, I'm going to see. Hold on. Vitamin B1. Okay. I'll write that down. I'll do it later. Okay. So, and that is all for thiamine. Woo. Okay. So, vitamin B2 is riboflavin, and that combines with protein to regulate respiration, growth, healthy skin, and eyes. Ooh, excuse me. You can get that from yeast, animal liver, or the kidneys, almonds, wheat germ, wild rice, mushroom, egg yolks, millet, wheat bran, oily fish, kale, cashews, and sunflowers. And all of those are unstable to light. I take it that's after it's been processed and everything else when they say it's unstable to light. Like in the packaging?
Yeah, not sure. I know things that are unstable to light is usually because of UV penetration, and it causes like an oxidative reaction to it, which kind of breaks down the good quality of it.
Kind of like your nitro pills.
Yeah, they're put in dark bottles because the light will break it down. And the aspirin's similar too. Have you ever smelled aspirin? It smells like vinegar. It's no good.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yep.
Wow. Okay. I had no idea. Okay, so vitamin B2, we'll see what kind of deficiencies we get here. So what happens if you don't get enough vitamin B12? I mean, not B12, B2. I wrote the wrong. Okay. Okay, symptoms. Well, come on. You open up one tab and you have to open up another one. Okay. Yeah, I could have had all of these, but that's like way too many tabs to have open. And like, no. So the B vitamins are in a group of 8 nutrients with each unique role in keeping the body healthy. And they're especially important for maintaining cell health and keeping you energized. So the symptoms of a B vitamin deficiency vary depending on which vitamin B you're deficient in. There are several foods high in the B vitamin. Let's see. We just went over all the foods. So the people that are at risk, older adults, pregnant women, are more at risk for a B deficiency, and they would need larger amounts of the different B vitamins. Because there's what? B1, B2, B3, 5, 6, and 12. So, excuse me. Like I said before, it could range from fatigue and confusion and to anemia. Also, or a compromised immune system. You can also get skin rashes. All the B's. Okay, I can skip on. So, B12 can lead to a disruption in the nervous system and your circulatory system, and B12 deficiencies can lead to megaloblastic anemia, and that's where the bone marrow produces large, abnormally shaped red blood cells, and that they don't function properly. Psychological conditions like dementia, paranoia, and depression and behavioral changes can result from a B12 deficiency. So with the deficiency in B12, you could have the fatigue, weakness, constipation, loss of appetite, weight loss, the numbness and tingling of the hands and feet, balance problem, confusion, poor memory, and soreness of the mouth and tongue. And it affects between 1.5 and 15% of people in America. And is it just B12 that a lot of alcoholics get, the B12 injections?
No, folate.
Do what?
It's folate. They can get
folate?
B12 and
Okay.
folate. They'll usually have folic acid deficiency, which is a vitamin B9.
Yeah.
And then the B12 deficiency. But yeah, it's usually the B12. It's the B vitamins that most alcoholics are deficient in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just remember giving a lot of B12 injections, and not just to people who are alcoholics, but other, when I did a group home for elderly and handicapped, and we gave a lot of B12 injections.
Yeah, we give a lot of B12 also for neuropathy as well. For
really?
You're talking about the paresthesia and the neuropathy.
Yeah.
A B12 deficiency can cause that.
Oh yeah. One of my ladies, she had a certain kind of neuropathy, and it started on the left side of her body, and she couldn't walk, she couldn't move her arm, nothing. And so there's something, and I can't remember what it was, but they said she'll be on B12 injections for a while, and she was able to walk, and she has to use a walker because of her balance and stuff. But nobody believed her that it was something wrong, and so they finally found out she had a B12 deficiency. So you could get a lot of B12, beef liver, clams, different meats, including fish and poultry, eggs, milk, cheese, fortified breakfast cereals. But then again, with those, you have to worry about sugar and whatever their cereal's made out of. Nutritional yeast, including milk, plant milks, and flours. Okay, so B6 deficiency. Did we go over? No, we have not. Okay. B6 is also called pyridoxine.
Pyridoxine.
Pyridoxine? Okay. Okay, that helps the body turn food into energy. It can also help the body fight infections and supporting the immune system. So pregnant women and breastfeeding women need it to help their babies' brains develop normally. I thought that the baby's brain was developed in utero. Or, I mean, I know it grows and stuff, but as far as functioning, shouldn't that be all done in utero?
Well, no, because the nerve endings and the synapses develop as the baby learns as well. Even the breathing part, you know, the baby doesn't really start breathing till you smack him, and it teaches him how to breathe right away. So so the cognitive development is post uterine. The actual formation of the simple brain is in utero, like you were saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we're still learning. We're still learning. You know, we can still make new synapses as we. Yeah. So yeah, the brain is constantly developing. It can decline too.
You what?
It can also go down. It can get bad too.
Oh yeah. But some of us forget, and that's what I'm saying. This is why I tell other people: don't go on WebMD. I swear to God, Bobby knows. Everyone knows I hate WebMD because people get on WebMD. But I got this symptom. I must be dying of this, or I have that, and that's why I hate it. I like most of the doctors I've ever worked for. If they were stumped, they'd go on WebMD. But it's not really meant for non-medical people because they could get themselves in a world of trouble by going on there. So B6 deficiency is not common in the United States. Insufficient amounts of B6 can result in anemia as well as skin disorders such as itchy rash or cracks around the mouth. And it can also cause depression, confusion, nausea, anemia, susceptibility to infections, and dermatitis. And a lot of foods that have good B6, chicken, or actually poultry, fish, organ meat, potatoes, and other starchy vegetables, and fruit, except for citrus fruits. So that's all it says about B6. And we went over B1 and B2. B3, it's also called niacin, and that also helps to convert food into energy. It also aids in proper digestion, a healthy appetite, and it's also important for cell development. So some symptoms of a B3 deficiency, you could have digestive issues such as nausea, abdominal cramps, and it can also cause mental confusion. So, and they say it's very rare in the United States. And it can also cause pellagra. And the symptoms of that are rough skin that turns red or brown in the sun, a bright red tongue, vomiting, constipation or diarrhea, fatigue, aggressiveness, paranoia, or suicidal behavior, and hallucinations. And that's why I'm wondering if like I was asking you about schizophrenia, if it's a B3 deficiency. But that's, I mean, of course I'm not a psychiatrist, but so foods that are rich in B3 is meat, pork, beef, and fish, some nuts, legumes, and grains, and fortified breads and cereal. So they're saying chicken tacos and peanut sauce is a good thing to make. B9 is also called folate, and that occurs naturally in food. Folic acid is the synthetic form, and it's often found in fortified and processed foods. It helps the growth of red blood cells, and it reduces the risk of birth defects. My daughter had to take folate as well as her multivitamin, and she wasn't producing enough. I'm drawing a blank. Which is the hormone? It's the hormone that helps you stay pregnant. When the first shows
pregnant?
up.
HCG? The human choreographic?
Yeah.
HCG?
Whatever it was, she had to take something every single day because her levels were not high enough when she first got pregnant. She had to take it for like 6 months. And for the life of I can't think of what it was.
Only thing I think is HCG, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't. But I just know she had to take something. She had seizures, and she has to take seizure medication. And see, she still took her seizure medicine because the doctor told her that if she had a seizure, the baby would be at a greater risk of her having the seizure than if she were to take her medication. And the baby's fine. She's growing like a weed. So she was actually quite healthy. She was like 7, almost 8 pounds when she was born. So she got lucky. Low levels of B9, you could have megaloblastic anemia, which causes weakness, fatigue, trouble concentrating, irritability, headaches, heart palpitations, shortness of breath, open sores in your mouth, and changes in your skin, hair, or fingernail color. So pregnant women that have a folate deficiency could result in their babies being born with neural tube defects, such as spina bifida.
That's why we give them prenatal vitamins. Prenatal vitamins contain iron and they contain folic acid. And so that's what prenatal vitamins are important for.
Oh, definitely. I know a lot of people don't like taking them because, one, they're like horse pills. And I hated taking them because they were huge. But I stuck through it, though. So some sources of folate include beef liver, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, your dark leafy vegetables, including spinach and mustard greens, oranges, orange juice, peanuts, and other nuts, beans, that includes kidney beans, and peas, like black-eyed peas and all of those. So, and that is it on all of the B vitamins. Cool. Anybody have any questions or anything so far? Oh, that's right. She's probably taking a nap.
Yeah, Lorna's always sleeping.
I am not.
And Stephanie said, hi, big brother.
Hey, what's up, Steph?
What's up, Steph?
You guys hear about Candy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I talked to her today. She can hardly talk. She's out of breath.
I bet.
Oh, well. It is what it is. Yeah, give Steffi a big kiss for me. Tell her I miss her.
I sure will.
Did my niece wreck that car yet?
Misses you. What's that?
Did my niece wreck that car yet? Did my niece wreck that car yet?
No, your niece didn't wreck the car. She's a good driver. I taught her.
All right.
Like a crazy mother, apparently.
Does she have a lead foot?
Yeah, she's got a lead foot like her mom. But she's a defensive driver like me.
Oh, that's good.
I'm defensive.
Oh, we know she's defensive, but not a defensive driver.
Kimmy just said she knows you're defensive, just not a defensive driver. Oh, God, you just
I shouldn't say anything. I don't pick on Stephanie. I always pick on you instead.
Killing me.
So vitamin C is ascorbic acid, and it's an antioxidant, and it helps with your healthy immune system, your bones, teeth, gums, cartilage, your capillaries, connective tissue, and also healing. And it also helps the synthesis of steroid hormones and the absorption of iron, and it helps regulate cholesterol. I did not know that. Huh.
Yeah,
well,
so ladies, if your doctor ever gave you iron because you're anemic, per se you have heavy periods and it's a iron deficiency from blood loss, if they're not giving you vitamin C to help absorb it, they're probably not helping you as good as they could be.
Oh, see, my doctors never gave me either one.
Well, most doctors don't understand vitamins and how they work because once they leave medical school, all that knowledge stays behind. So they get to where they're just throwing pills at a disease and they lose what they call the aspect of functional medicine. So functional medicine is you get back to the basics. What's the root problem? Why is she deficient in the iron? Is it the blood loss, or is it maybe she had a resection in the intestine and she's no longer absorbing iron very well? Well, how can we help her to absorb iron? Let's give her some vitamin C.
Yeah, see, I mean, a lot of this stuff, I never feel like even in nursing school, you can't learn every bit of it. I mean, we go like over a brief little section, and boom, that's it.
Let's call it a practice. Let's call it a practice. Let's call it a practice. Yeah, we're practicing. But see, do we stop learning? Some people stop learning after a while. They just start becoming more mechanical. Person has anemia because they lost blood, give iron. And then next patient. But, I hope I never get that way. If I do, I need to go back to truck driving.
It's true, because when you become that mechanical, it's like, it's kind of like day in, day out, same thing over and over and over again. And that's when you start to make mistakes. You have to, and that's why even with nursing, you have to do the continuing education credits every year or whatever, depending on your state. And it's not just on the things that they have you learn, because a lot of times it's domestic violence, and HIV and all this other. There's never been a CEU with your vitamins and minerals, and things like that. That's because they just don't do it.
They're not regulated by the FDA, and that's the problem. A lot of doctors won't prescribe them. But on the other hand, we were talking about insurance companies too, and a lot of insurance companies won't pay for them. And most patients will not buy something unless the insurance covers it, because a lot of the patients that I deal with, they actually can't afford it. It's not within their budget. And some of these vitamins can be very costly. When it comes to buying vitamins, the best vitamins to buy is the ones in the capsule form. The ones that are in the pill form are not as good because they don't absorb as well. And the capsule has other ingredients in them that your body really doesn't need. I think I had mentioned the word phthalates once before about plastics and things like that. So, so the capsule form, even though you think it's a capsule, it's a very biodegradable substance versus some of the products that are put in that pill to keep that pill together and for it to dissolve the way it's supposed to. So my personal opinion is capsule vitamins are much better absorbed than pill form vitamins, but they're much more expensive, and that's why.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so the other thing is, you guys know vitamins don't work unless you have food for them to attach to. So never take a supplement or vitamin without something in your stomach.
Even the, well, never mind, because I asked my own question.
Yeah.
I use the gummy, the vitamins.
Yeah.
I do those. But I always eat breakfast right after I take them. So.
Yeah. Just if you're diabetic, be careful of the sugar in them.
Oh no. So good sources of vitamin C are sweet bell peppers, kale, parsley, leafy vegetables, broccoli, watercress, strawberries, papaya, oranges, grapefruit, cabbage, lemon juice, elderberries, liver, mangoes, asparagus, oysters, radishes, and raspberries.
Hey,
and
Doc, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Yeah, since you got a reference in front of you, can you go over vitamin C toxicity, because you can get too much vitamin C?
Okay. Oh, you can? Yeah. Well, see, one of my doctors said your body will just, when you urinate, it'll go out, but.
That's their B vitamins. It'll do that with the B12, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But talk about vitamin C toxicity, because they're pushing vitamin C for this COVID, and too much could be bad for you also.
Oh, okay. So here's, well, that's a deficiency. Come on, computer. Just trying to. Okay. Where is the toxicity? Okay, here we go. So, don't do a fatal error.
Sorry, Doc.
If I don't open up the page, this has face flushing, vomiting, headaches, disturbed sleep, excessive gas, stomach cramps, increased urination.
Sounds like menopause.
Yeah.
and you can also have a vitamin C anemia. Everybody thinks of iron or B12 or folate anemia, but a lot of people don't think about the vitamin C anemia. So two things, vitamin C is very important, but keep in mind, too much could be bad for you, and too little could be bad for you. The other thing with vitamin C is if you're a smoker, your body tends to reduce the absorbency of the vitamin C.
Yeah, it's good for wound healing. It helps keep your bones strong, and it also enhances your brain function. Let's see. And a lot of people take it for, that's pretty much the main reason, is for fighting a cold.
For that. But the main thing for vitamin C is for your body to be able to absorb iron. That's really one of the main things for vitamin C.
Yeah, it says it's a water soluble, and it's not
it is
stored in your body.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find other.
And I think that's one of the most important vitamins is the vitamin C, as far as things. Thiamine is another one. Folic acid is another one. B12 and vitamin A. And then when it comes to minerals, you definitely want to look into your zinc and your iron, which is ferrous sulfate. Those are really important minerals, and that all has to do with blood metabolism. For your patients who are taking blood thinners, You got to watch out. You haven't gotten there yet, Doc, I know, but the vitamin K is a bad one. You got to be careful with that.
That's one of the unfortunates of that. But vitamin C, if you overdose on vitamin C, where'd it go? Oh, I just lost it. You can have digestive distress and kidney stones if you have high amounts of it.
Yeah, Guys don't want kidney stones. It's like giving birth. That's what they say.
Oh, I don't know.
No comparison.
I had 3 kidney stones. They were probably, they say it was about the size of your thumbnail. And
ouch.
Yeah, and I got mine because of taking what's that medication? A lot of veterans end up on it. Not trazodone, but the other one there, Topamax. And
for
one
migraines?
of the unfortunate side effects. Huh?
You take Topamax for migraines?
No, I took it for my PTSD and whatever, anxiety and all that other stuff. But it did help. But I wasn't a high dose of it. Unfortunately, it made my teeth crack, a few of them, and it gave me kidney stones. So that's why they took me off of it. They said it wasn't, and it started losing the benefits. So, but I'm on Effexor, and it works great. I don't have those big mood swings, and I'm not, and I'm trying, with the vitamins. I'm trying to get off of all the medications because I really hate being on it.
Well, most people, if they just consume a decent diet, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but just a decent diet, and they take a multivitamin one a day, I think that most deficiencies can be resolved by that. Now, there's special situations, certain medications can cause vitamin deficiencies. Certain lifestyles can cause absorption behavior, absorption issues, and also medical conditions can cause absorption issues with vitamins. But when you become deficient in that regard, then your hematologist will do an infusion, which is more readily absorbed than, it gets right into the bloodstream and bypasses the liver. So if it doesn't absorb through the intestinal tract, they can put it directly into the bloodstream, and, it can either bypass the liver or it can go through the liver, but not from the portal from the intestines. So yeah, vitamins are very important, but most vitamin deficiencies are because of lifestyle and or because of poor dietary habits, alcoholism, smoking, or those are the most common reasons for vitamin deficiencies in the average person. But there are other issues where there's genetic absorption issues, there's medical conditions where they remove part of the small intestine, so they're not absorbing vitamins very well, most commonly like B12 and iron, and they end up becoming anemic, and those kind of issues. So let's go on, Doc. I'm getting on a tangent here.
That's okay. So vitamin D, that controls your calcium absorption for healthy bones and teeth and a healthy immune system.
Don't get me started on vitamin D. That's my favorite of them all. Oh, my God.
My doctor put me on vitamin D to take every day. So, I didn't know if I don't eat with it, I do get sick.
Can I give a lesson on vitamin D real quick?
Huh?
I'll give a lesson on vitamin D real quick.
You go right ahead. You do so.
Vitamin D is good for many things. Vitamin D is the car, and that car drives the calcium, and that car needs ultraviolet light for fuel to drive the calcium. So that vitamin D will put the calcium into your bones, and that vitamin D will drive the calcium into the muscles for the calcium channels and it will drive the calcium into the brain for the calcium channels for the neurons to fire. The lack of vitamin D with a normal blood level of calcium leaves a lot of calcium that has nowhere to go. So calcium will drop out of your blood wherever it wants to. It'll drop out into your arteries. It'll drop out into your organs. It'll drop out into your tissues, wherever it wants to, because it doesn't have a ride. So the important thing with vitamin D, you'll hear, low vitamin D is osteoporosis, or it's putting calcium into the bones, but it also has a lot to do with skin, nails, muscle contractions, hardening of the arteries, things like that. So if you have a good level of vitamin D and a good level of calcium, your risk for cardiovascular disease is a lot lower. Your risk for osteoporosis is a lot lower than having normal levels of calcium but not realizing you're low in your vitamin D. So vitamin D is the car, calcium is the passenger, and the sunlight, even if you're just sitting next to a window on a cloudy day, is the fuel to get it to where it needs to go. And that's it. That's all I want to say about vitamin D.
Cool. And it helps fight
vitamin,
COVID.
Huh?
It helps fight COVID.
Yes, it does.
And the other thing is they noticed that a lot of COVID patients have a vitamin D deficiency. Or at least that's what has been coming into the VA hospital here in Kansas. A lot of their patients had a vitamin D deficiency. And that's why most of the doctors will put you on vitamin D. If you ended up with COVID, they'll send you home with it. And I did.
I put all my patients on vitamin C, vitamin D3, and 1,000 units of vitamin C twice a day with the meal. They get 5,000 units daily of vitamin D3, and they'll get 50 milligrams of zinc once a day, and all of that's taken with a meal. And that's just to boost the immune system, and it helps.
Yeah.
So zinc, vitamin D3, but vitamin D is the metabolite, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay. The unusual thing is my kid's father just had COVID. He ended up with COVID, and he was put in the hospital for almost 2 weeks, and he got blood clots in his lungs also, like I did. But he had to be put on oxygen and put in the ICU because he had to have oxygen. He couldn't even get up to walk to the bathroom, and he was put in. He sounded terrible. I heard him when my son was talking to him, and he couldn't even. He looked like someone who was extremely morbidly obese, walking and trying to breathe. That kind of labored breathing is what he had, and but yeah, I mean, did you get or have you gotten a lot of patients who had COVID that ended up with blood clots, or is that just kind of a hit or miss?
In the elderly population, yes, it's happened. In my kids, none of them, and in the people that I've had the vaccines, none of them have had blood clots. They have had micro aneurysms because of little micro blood clots in the brain from the cytokine storm, but most of these patients are ICU patients already. So my patients, since I'm in a family practice, I haven't had any patients in my clinic with those, but some that I've referred to the hospital have had those conditions, but it didn't develop till they were in the hospital. So that there's a interesting link there.
Oh, okay. I know when I first got sick, I lost my voice. And I'm like, crap, I lost my voice again. I'm just now getting it back. And I'm like, I better not be getting this shit again.
Well, see,
they
did learn that taking a baby aspirin or aspirin helps prevent some of that stuff they found out. There's a good study on it. And right now, hospitals are doing heparin infusion, in the belly. They're getting them shots in the belly for the anticoagulation, knowing that can happen. Yeah,
no,
so that's
got
actually
Lovenox.
Standard care now. Yeah, Lovenox, exactly. That's standard care right now for COVID patients to prevent that. But now eat some leafy vegetables full of vitamin K, and
that just throws it off. Oh, vitamin E, it's an antioxidant as well, and it helps with your healthy immune system, your heart and blood circulation, your lipid balance, sex hormone regulator, fertility, gestation, and growth, So you add that to your sunflower seeds, sunflower oil, safflower oil, almond, sesame oil, peanut oil, corn oil, wheat germ, peanuts, olive oil, butter, spinach, oatmeal, salmon, brown rice, rye flour, pecans. Well, there you put that. Whole wheat bread and carrots. So that's where a lot of the sources for vitamin E. And let's see.
Vitamin E is good for your liver. A lot of people with fatty liver or with hepatitis that's causing portal hypertension, the hepatologists are putting patients on a dosing of a vitamin E. So it has a lot to do with the liver. It has some scavenger effects, and it's a good antioxidant, like you said. So, yeah, cool. I think vitamin E is good, but it's also toxic. You got to be careful with it. And it's one of those fat-soluble vitamins, so it's not going to really be absorbed unless it's through, if you're eating a diet that has some fat in it.
Yeah. I was just going to, let's see. Oh, stop it. Damn computer. So some of the symptoms of a vitamin E deficiency, muscle weakness, and because vitamin E is essential to the central nervous system, and it's one of the body's main antioxidants. And a deficiency results in oxidative stress, which can lead to muscle weakness. You can also have coordination and walking difficulties, numbness and tingling, vision deterioration, and immune system problems. It also affects older adults. One of my medications caused liver problems. My liver enzymes were high. Of course, they didn't tell me how high they were, but they took me off one of the medications that caused it, and they did another blood test. I think it was like 3 months later, and then it almost leveled out, and then they didn't do it again. But and that was part of the reason why I had to quit drinking. I didn't want to put any more stress on my liver as it was. So it is genetic to have vitamin E deficiency. It often runs in families. Oh, sure. I'm not even going to butcher this one. There's two diseases: congenital. Yeah, a beta-proteinemia. Jesus, I can't even say that. Unless you know how to pronounce it.
I don't know what you're saying. Proteinemia.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's there's two hereditary diseases.
They're rare. They're pretty rare. Those are zebras.
One of them is a familial isolated vitamin E deficiency, and the other one's the alphabet soup. All I know is the last part of it's protein.
How do you spell it?
ABETALITOPROE. Go ahead.
Albedo, yeah. Is it BETO? Do you say it's BETO or BTA?
BETA.
Oh, it's alpha beta lipoproteinemia.
Proteinemia.
Alpha
okay.
it's alpha beta.
Alpha.
AB.
Oh, okay. Well.
Alpha
like
beta lipoproteinemia. Yeah. Well, see, you have your alpha beta lipoproteins, so it's just a big fancy, but those are rare. Those are very rare.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So some of the vitamin E deficiencies can also come from diseases that severely reduce the absorption of fat. And yet again, celiac is on there. Chronic pancreatitis, cholestatic liver disease, and cystic fibrosis. Yeah, celiac really sucks, and it just causes way too many problems. Premature
and see, when you're sorry.
No, go ahead. I got to go walk outside and go smack my dogs because they're attacking the neighbor. He's walking by.
Well, he shouldn't be in your yard.
Oh, no, it's a fenced-in yard. And he's in his part of the yard. He's in the back of our house. There's a fence between our yards. And my dogs...
I wouldn't smack your dogs. They're doing their job.
I know.
I'd give him a doggy biscuit.
It's the excessive barking over the thing. Oh, crap. Never mind. It's another dog. That's why. Yeah, this is what we got to go through all the time.
So when you think of lipoproteins, think of your cholesterols. You have your high-density lipoproteins, and you got your low-density lipoproteins. They call it HDL or LDL types of cholesterol. So when it comes to vitamin E has an effect on the liver, and it can assist with your protein synthesis and assist with your cholesterol. So that's why fatty liver, and that's why hepatic livers, vitamin E is probably not a bad idea. But you need to check with your doctor.
Oh, yeah. As far as your good cholesterol,
that's a high-density lipoprotein.
Huh?
That's called your good cholesterol is HDL. It's a high-density lipoprotein. Kind of like that fancy word we were trying to figure out a minute ago.
Oh, yeah.
High-density lipoprotein, yeah. And a good way to raise that is exercise.
Is what?
Exercise.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it. Exercise. Yeah.
That's it? Oh,
That's it. Exercise.
Okay. Damn. I got to start. Well, we're going to start back at the gym tomorrow. So after I got sick, and then they had more restrictions and all this other crap, we stopped going. And so we're going to start back up tomorrow. But I was going to bring this up. I know we're getting ready to go on to. I'll go to the vitamin K. Have you ever heard about dry needling?
No. What is that?
Oh, okay. See, I have nerve damage from my neck down to my fingertips. And they're trying to figure out if I have carpal tunnel or neck problems and shoulder problems. And it's like acupuncture, but they stick the needle all the way to the bone.
Wow, that sounds painful.
Actually, it doesn't even hurt. You can't even feel it.
Feels well when they put the electrodes on it.
Now, well, I mean, that works too, but these needles are the same ones they use for acupuncture. They're like little
that's what I'm saying, though. When they hook electrodes up to the dry needling, it feels awesome.
Oh, that. Yeah, I don't know. I have to have another one of those EMGs done.
It massages from the inside out.
So that he hasn't done yet, my physical therapist.
Oh,
We
tell
shall
him to
see.
do it, because I'll tell you what, it works wonders.
It sounds like a spinal column stimulator.
Right. That's
yeah.
That's exactly what they mimic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was thinking that if somebody stuck me in the neck with a needle, I don't think I would be feeling my fingertips anymore. I think it'd be more in my neck.
Oh no! He did my elbow. He did my elbow first, and I wanted to my shoulder is like I have like 4 or 5 knots in the muscle, and they're trying to figure out where it starts. But he did my elbow first, and I got like 3 spots on my radial nerve, and I felt that one, and it does. It feels like something's touching the nerve, and it shocks, and it just loosens up. It kind of triggers the muscle to loosen up, and so that works. I'm like, okay, it hurt just a tad bit. I'm like, look, I got tattoos. If I can have a tattoo, you can go ahead and stick me on my back. And I never moved. I did not feel it, not at all. And it loosened up the muscles of my shoulder. And
the VA here in Texas, they're starting to experiment with the acupuncture too, as far as pain management, even for tinnitus, ringing in the ears. They're messing around with that a little bit too. And some veterans say it works.
Needling for that.
Yeah, so some veterans say that it does help them, and so that's why they're pursuing it, I think.
A lot of them, he said one of his veterans, he came 6 times, once a week for 6 weeks. He said he's got almost all of the mobility in his arm and his shoulder back. And I'm like, look, I can withstand this for 6 weeks. Okay, fine. I've been going through this for 11 years. I think I could take 6 more weeks. And it's been a week and a half. I only have mild pain in my elbow and my wrist still. Shoulder pain is almost gone. So I'm happy. I don't care.
Well, yeah, if it works, do it.
And it's less Motrin and Flexeril that I have to take. That's mostly, except for my back pain. But, so anyway, vitamin K. Yay, we're in the last vitamin. It helps with blood clotting, calcium metabolism, blood sugar balance, healthy lung tissue, heart and circulation, your metabolism, your bones, your skin, and bacterial synthesis in the gut. And there's quite a few things: broccoli, lettuce, cabbage,
green
liver, spinach. Yeah, green leaf. Well, the thing I said, I don't even know why they put lettuce on anything. Iceberg lettuce is about the most useless thing that you could eat besides celery.
No, romaine. They're probably talking about romaine lettuce.
Really?
Because most lettuce has no nutritional value, but certain like romaine lettuce, a real thick leafy lettuce, are the ones that they're talking about.
Oh, okay. No, I know as far as being the most useless one, it is the iceberg lettuce, right?
I don't know. Just lettuce in general. I don't have any faith in lettuce in general whatsoever. But if I were going to just eat lettuce, it would be probably the romaine lettuce.
Oh, okay. I eat all the other lettuces, the radicchio. The spring salads that has like 5 different, the radicchio and then some other funky, there's like 5 different ones that I have no clue. But spinach, watercress, asparagus, cheese, butter, oats, peas, whole wheat, green beans, pork, eggs, and kelp. See, there's quite a few of these things that I cannot eat. I can't eat shellfish. I can't even eat tuna because there's too much iodine in tuna. And it makes me sick, like vomit sick, like within 10 minutes of eating tuna. I thought I was doing good, and then, nope, I can't have anything. It sucks.
Go inside, Chris.
So, and then some of the vitamin K deficiencies, and like we said, if you have if you're on heparin or whatever, you cannot have vitamin K.
Yeah, but you don't want a vitamin K deficiency because that's bad.
Yeah.
You start bruising, you could have a bleed in the brain real easy with a vitamin K deficiency.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's because without the vitamin K, your blood won't clot.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that. and if you're on heparin, that's the antidote pretty much for the heparin, and the heparin's to help clean the blood. And I know that heparin's been around, Coumadin's been around forever. Now they have Lovenox. Now they have Plavix. Do you know if Plavix is only given to those with heart stents and things like that, or is it or can Plavix be used for like patients who need heparin?
Plavix is used in an outpatient setting to where they don't need the monitoring like they do on the Coumadin, because Coumadin was derived from rat poison. It's dangerous. So you have to monitor your Coumadin levels with your PT and your INR, at least once a month when you're on Coumadin, warfarin, Coumadin, whatever. And so they went with the Plavix. You don't need to be monitoring, their anticoagulant state on the Plavix as often. So, but there are other anticoagulants out there now that they're using too. But I think Plavix is probably the safest one.
Yeah, because when I was working in the hospitals, most of the doctors were giving it to patients who had heart stents put in. And I never saw anybody else that was given Plavix. Because I do know that when it first came out, if you had to have like hip surgery or any surgery, you had to stop taking Plavix for a week before you. Yep.
Before you went in for your surgery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's still true. Most anticoagulants you have to be off of for a particular amount of time before you go in for the surgeries. Each one of them has a different amount of time.
Oh, okay.
But that aspirin is the most simplest anticoagulant.
Yeah, it is. Not the only unfortunate thing is if you have a lot of stomach issues, they don't want you taking aspirin.
True.
Like I've had gastritis way too many times, they said, and so they told me to stop taking the aspirin.
And people with ulcers, they don't do very good on Plavix or heparin or Coumadin or any of those other, because once they're bleeding, the bleeding is hard to stop.
Oh yeah.
So that condition has to be resolved or treated before they can before they can use that anticoagulation.
Now, is it just for stomach ulcers, or is it because I know the esophageal varices that you could get, a lot of alcoholics get it, and would they have to fix those before they can do it, or is it just for stomach ulcers?
Well, they would use any sort of active bleeding has to be repaired. Even hemorrhoidal bleeding. Yeah, it has to be controlled.
Oh wow.
And so Plavix would actually be probably the safest medication to use in those situations over, like a Coumadin or warfarin or Lovenox.
Oh wow. Okay.
But you. So any active bleeding, you definitely don't want to be on a blood thinner, because then you won't clot. You'll continue to bleed, and you could bleed anemic. You could bleed out.
Yeah, I've had quite a few patients that have, especially when they had an ulcer in their intestines and they couldn't find it and they bled out.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, one person that I know of, and I forgot what it's called, but they were bleeding out of every orifice of their body, that could possibly have blood come out. And
hemorrhagic.
That's what it's called. Yeah, but it was like an abbreviation for what it was called.
Mm-hmm. HUS.
Yeah, it's horrible. I've only seen that one time, and it's pretty bad.
You can get that with dengue from the
dengue fever. Okay.
Yeah, from the mosquito bites. You can get that from dengue. You can get the hemorrhagic anemia, and you just start bleeding. Something as simple as your gums will start bleeding, and then you'll start getting blood out of your tear ducts and out of your nose and out of your ears. And it can be really bad.
Yeah, see, that's what scares me. But when they start coming up with these funky diseases and these viruses, and I'm like, holy crap! It's like, oh my God, just shoot me now. I don't even want to.
Yeah.
I'll wear a mask for that shit.
Well, most of us in medicine. Most of us around medicine, those are the things that, we see those things, and they're not common, but they're not rare either. They're somewhere in the middle. But, the average healthy person, they have no clue. They just hear, oh, dengue fever, oh, big mosquito. I get bit by mosquitoes all the time. I don't have a problem with it.
Exactly.
But if you're pregnant, you don't want Zika. You don't want the Zika virus, or you don't want to have any of those if you're pregnant. So those are, and unless you live in areas that are endemic to it, like on the southern borders, you probably don't have to be even concerned about that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, when Zika came around, oh my God, I was like, okay, and people were flipping out over it, over the Zika virus, and I'm like, and now it's just.
Well, remember it all started with West Nile. The first one that got famous was West Nile, the West Nile virus. And then the dengue. Dengue's been around forever. Military people pick up dengue all the time. And then now Zika's kind of relatively, newer in the last 10 years, I guess. So there's a lot of mosquito-borne. Yeah, Ebola. We don't want that. Or anthrax.
No, God.
And we don't want the vaccine for it either, Vet Stewie. We don't want the anthrax vaccine. No, thank you.
No, but it's too late.
Yeah, well, no, I think they've learned their lesson about it, though. I don't think they're giving it as often. I hope not.
Oh, I hope not either, because, yeah. So to finish up vitamin K, some of the deficiencies, you bruise easily. You get small blood clots under your nail beds.
Those aren't blood clots. Those aren't blood clots. Those are called hemorrhages. They're called splinter hemorrhages. They're not blood clots. They're hemorrhages. You're bleeding. You're actively bleeding.
Oh, okay. Well,
without the vitamin K,
that's why I read it.
Okay. Well, yeah. Without the vitamin K, you don't clot. So yeah, those are called splinter hemorrhages.
Oh yeah. So why would they call it a clot? Duh.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You know what? This is under Healthline, and I mean, so far Healthline has got a lot of accurate information, but I have come across things like that, and I'm like, that's not right. So, but it also it bleeds in mucosa membranes that line areas inside the body. You can get a dark, tarry stool, and so black is old blood, and that's usually up in the intestines. When it's bright red, that's usually hemorrhoids, and it can be ulcers, right, in the colon.
Yeah, the lower intestinal tract or the large intestine. You can get it from there. You can get it from anal fissures. You can get it from ulcerative colitis. Bright red blood.
Oh.
When you start seeing dark, tarry-looking stool, think upper GI, think upper small intestine, in the duodenum, around the ileus, or even in the gastric.
So way up there. Okay.
You can hear from esophageal varices. The most common.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. See, I've had the black blood in my stool 3 times, and it just looked like I dumped black coffee. Huh?
Oh, you goodness! You can get that from Pepto-Bismol too.
Oh, I will never take that shit. I took it when I was like 9, And within minutes of me taking Pepto, I puked my guts out, and it literally looked like I just took the bottle of Pepto and sprayed it all in my bathtub. And I'm like,
Oh, my
nope,
goodness.
will never take that again. I like the taste of Pepto, but no, nope. But no, I really did. I have, because I have chronic diarrhea and I have celiac. And see, I went from, they said I had IBS to IBD to Crohn's, and they found out that I had celiac. And three separate times, years apart though. And the last time was 5 years ago. And it, like I said, it looked like I dumped black coffee in the toilet. And I was like, I'm going to the hospital. And went up, and they checked. There was nothing there. So they don't know what the hell happened. If whatever it was that caused the internal bleeding, it either clotted off itself or something happened. And thank God, because I know about the internal bleeding. No, it's not fun to play with. So in infants with the vitamin K deficiency, it could be in the area where the umbilical cord was removed. They could have bleeding in the skin, nose, the GI tract, and other areas. If the boy's been circumcised, it could be right there where they had cut the foreskin. And sudden bleeding in the brain, which is extremely dangerous and life-threatening. So vitamin K deficiency is uncommon in adults, but certain people are at risk. Like you said, if they take Coumadin, heparin, antibiotics, if they have fat malabsorption, and have a diet that's extremely lacking in vitamin K. But with all the stuff that has vitamin K, it's kind of hard to not get enough from what you eat. And so what malabsorption syndrome is, some antibiotics cause the body to produce less of its own vitamin K. Other antibiotics may cause vitamin K to become less effective in the body. And fat malabsorption can lead to vitamin K deficiency with people with none other than a celiac. They just put celiac on everything. Every disease, it's celiac, you know. Cystic fibrosis and a disorder in the intestines or the biliary tract. And if you've had part of your intestine removed. So people that's had the bowel resection. So basically, I mean, for the bowel resections and stuff, are they talking about a lot of people who have the colostomy bags?
Yes, and a lot of times it's the small intestine, resection of the small intestine, part of the small intestine, because that's where most absorption is done. In the large intestine, it's most reabsorption. That's why if you leave your stool sit in your large intestine for too long, you get constipated. When you have to go to the bathroom, don't hold it in.
Exactly. And it's unfortunate that that's why a lot of nurses and teachers, but have issues with bowel problems and bladder problems, because as a nurse, we were lucky if we had enough time to go to the bathroom, much less eat anything, you know. And a lot of people don't understand that. There are some careers that, man, you just don't have time, but you have to make time. That's just it. So we don't have a whole lot of time, but we could go over the mineral supplements next week, because I got 2 pages of them.
Talk about one before you go. Talk about zinc.
One, zinc. Let's see, where's zinc? It's an antioxidant and an carcinogen, immune system regulator, antiviral, DNA and RNA synthesis, enzyme activator. It helps in wound healing, skin, hair, muscle, and respiratory health. It helps with fertility, reproductive health, and insulin synthesis. And yes, vitamin K is not vitamin K. Zinc is one of the minerals that they've been giving for COVID. Let's go with zinc. What are they deficiencies? Okay. And apparently, I guess there's a lot to learn about zinc.
Yes, there is. That has to do with anemia?
Yeah. Okay. So it helps your body use the uses for the help fighting off infections and producing cells, and it's also for healing injuries and creating DNA. It's the genetic blueprint of all your cells. And if you're not getting enough in your diet, you may have side effects like hair loss, lack of alertness, and a reduced sense of smell and taste. Well, what the hell? When you have COVID, you don't have either. Well, I didn't have either one. I lost my sense of taste and smell.
Well, were you taking zinc?
No, I wasn't.
No.
Well, I mean,
okay.
They didn't give me zinc in the hospital either, or at least I don't think they did.
Well, so there you go. I give all my patients zinc.
Well, they probably would have if they sent me home with it, but I'm trying to think. No, they didn't give, unless it was in my IVs. I have no idea, because I don't think they did. But it's used by your body in cell production and immune functions, and there's still a lot to learn about it. But it's still a part of growth, sexual development, and reproduction. And if you're deficient in zinc, your body can't produce healthy new cells. So you can have unexplained weight loss, wounds that won't heal, the lack of alertness, diarrhea, lack of appetite, open sores on your skin, and like I said, the decreased sense of smell and taste.
You got time for one more?
Sure.
Copper.
Copper. Ah.
Because I think everybody knows iron. Iron's a big one, but I think copper is one of the ones that's neglected.
Really? So the synthesis of enzymes that are required for iron absorption, red blood cell formation, maintenance of skin, bone, and nerve formation, and collagen synthesis. So some of the foods, you can get it from, see, this will help me. Oysters, shellfish, your nuts, like the Brazil nuts, almonds, hazelnuts, walnuts. All your nuts. How about that?
Your nuts.
Dried nuts. There are some days. I'm really telling you. Dried beans, split peas, liver, buckwheat, lamb, sunflower oil, crab, and copper water pipes. Really? They're going to put... Yeah, so just go suck on a copper water pipe if you want, I guess. Jeez, I don't even know why they would put that there. Now, most of your water pipes are no longer made out of copper. They're all PVC pipes now. Yeah.
So if you get a good multivitamin with minerals, it'll have some copper in it. So copper is really, really good for you. Zinc is really, really good for you. And I want to go back to your vitamin A. You were talking about with the mucosal linings for your females who have a postmenopausal or whatever vaginal atrophy and dryness of the vaginal mucosa. Vitamin A is also a good supplement to be given them as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Things for the women. Come on. Yeah, it says, I'm trying to think of fertility, irregular, throat, and chest. No, we already went over all of those. So,
yeah, you did that.
What is it Bitot spots? BITOT?
I'm not sure.
But it's under vitamin A deficiency. It's just a picture. It doesn't even have what it is.
Is it on the skin or is it in the eyes or what?
It doesn't say. Let me go back to the.
Well, so some of the cool things is look at your fingernails. Do they look pitted? Do they have little holes in your fingernails? So you're going to think of a B vitamin deficiency. Look at the corners of your mouth. You got little cracks in them. Chelosis is what we call it. Probably have a vitamin A or a vitamin B deficiency, maybe even a vitamin C deficiency. A lot of times you just look at a person, their skin, their nails, and just their face, their mouth. You can tell vitamin deficiencies just by looking at a person from a lot of the things you described right now. Hardest thing is remembering all this stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the spots, they're on your eye. And it's usually on the cornea. No, well, the white part of your eye.
The white? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, you know.
On the side of the eye, on the left or the right side of the pupil. And they're just little, well, some of these look like blotches. And some of these are some really weird pictures. Some of them are quite prominent. And it looks like plaque. Almost on some of them is what it looks like on the eye.
Huh. I guess you'd have to be an ophthalmologist to see that.
Yeah. But these things are noticeable quite a bit. But that's what it looks like. It actually looks like plaque, like cirrhosis plaque and shit on your eyeball. That's what it looks like. Wow. But that's what those spots were. But that is all for those. And then next week we can just finish up with the other minerals in hoopla. All right, guys. Any questions? Statements, concerns? Free beer? Wow. Guys are sleeping.
No free beer?
I couldn't find the button.
Free beer, someone answers me.
I couldn't find the button.
Hey, have you ever seen anybody?
Say that.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Okay, back on those prenatal vitamins. Now I don't even remember if it's my daughter or who, but they take them when they're not even pregnant. Is that safe or no?
While they're nursing.
No.
If they're not nursing, if they're not breastfeeding, they shouldn't be taking those.
What's the difference between them and regular vitamins then?
They have folic acid, a higher amount of folic acid, and they have a higher amount of iron.
Oh, okay.
Than standard vitamins. Yeah, most of them will have like 27 milligrams of iron and a full milligram of folic acid in them.
So if you're low on that stuff, can you take them or no?
You can take them, but you're going to end up with conditions like constipation, unusual rashes, and probably, some fatigue and stuff like that. Because when you're taking them, your body's using those extra vitamins to help the baby mature in utero. And then your body is also using those extra vitamins for the lactate production. And so when you're not lactating and you're not growing a baby, you're getting more vitamins than you need, and it's overloading your metabolism, which can actually drag you down. So it's not recommended. If you're up to a year after delivery is fine. If you're nursing, that's the recommendation. And the reason why is because it has a higher concentration of iron, which is very constipating for some people, and it has a higher concentration of folic acid, which can be a little toxic, and causing, symptoms such as chronic fatigue and other issues like that, even depression sometimes.
Right. I wish I could remember.
Yeah, just tell them that it's only for the higher doses. It has higher vitamin content, standard vitamin, because you need the extra vitamins for the baby, whether you're growing one or whether you're feeding one.
All right. That answers that question.
All right, Bobby, you still around? I think he's hiding.
Do you know? Just to cap off what you had to say tonight, Colonel. Vitamins are very, very important for a lot of metabolic and personal health reasons, and micronutrient deficiencies in those vitamins are the underlying cause of a lot of disease going on in our country right now. We do not have a healthy diet in this country. Other countries, they have different diets. They have different illnesses. But a majority of our illnesses could be resolved if we ate healthier and we had those vitamins that you were discussing in our diet. A lot of times we get stuck on a certain diet. Even as we get older, our taste changes, and we do not want to eat because we don't like the way food tastes, so we get stuck on certain foods, and we develop these vitamin deficiencies. Sometimes high blood pressure, sometimes cholesterol, sometimes anemia. Those three conditions, even diabetes, can be changed simply by the vitamins and minerals that are deficient in our body. And by, understanding these vitamins and how they work may be a clue to underlying conditions that are affecting you.
Is there any vitamins that you shouldn't take with each other?
That you should not take with each other?
Right.
Well, it depends on the medications that you're taking. If you're taking certain medications, certain vitamins should not be in excess. And if you have a low-fat diet, you're obviously not going to absorb certain vitamins. So vitamins, for the most part in the body will use what it needs, and it will excrete what it doesn't need for the most part. But if you overload your body with vitamins, then your body is going to have to try to metabolize that, and it's going to place extra effect on your kidneys, extra effect on your liver. So if you have conditions with those organ systems, you don't want to take. Vitamins can go together, but you have to take supplemental vitamins and minerals with food. If you take them on an empty stomach, they're not going to do you any good. So the answer to your question is there certain vitamins that should not be taken together. In my mind and my training, no. You can take them all together. But if you're taking them without food and or you have other medical conditions that would prohibit them, such as taking vitamin K when you're on an anticoagulant, certain vitamins are not good for you. So talk to your doctor. That's the most important thing. Talk to your doctor. He should be able to tell you whether the vitamin is good for you or not.
How much time we
got?
got?
All right, we got 10 seconds, and I think they just cut us off.
God bless you guys. Thank you for having me.
God bless you, brother. Thank you for being on. Please come back.
I will.
And thank you all for a great show. God bless you all. I know that it just cut us off, so we're just talking to ourselves. So good night, everybody.
Good night. Hey, kiss Stephanie for me. Kiss my nieces.
I sure will.
Give Candy a call, for you lovers.
I will.
All right, Colonel. Love you too. Thank you for what you do, Colonel. You're amazing. She's gone too, huh?
Yeah.
Ouch.
Oh no, somebody's there.